but I think it was from Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yes.
Christmas Time Is Here was the name of it, but I can't tell you who did it.
Vince Guaraldi.
Yep.
Not that, pardon?
Vince Guaraldi, the Vince Guaraldi Trio. Vince Guaraldi wrote all the music for the Charlie Brown specials.
You know that well.
Yes, I do.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So there it is.
Geez, I wonder how we happened to get it.
I don't know. Ask the man over there.
It's part of our Christmas library.
Did you steal it or what?
No.
You didn't steal it.
No.
So anyway, hey, in Minnesota today we're going to talk about some special events coming up this month at the Paradise Center for the Arts. More specifically, this weekend. I understand you were near death last week.
Well, not near death, but you know, your good bronchial infection will wipe you out. You know, your lungs get inflamed and you just get totally fatigued. And it was viral. It was viral, so I didn't want to pass it around to anybody. So,
you're fine now.
Very well. Prednisone, the wonder drug, did its job.
Okay.
So,
well, that's good.
And since you work with your voice, I didn't want to pass on what I had to you, of all people. So.
No, I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. I'm trying to think of what all is happening this month. You still have a couple of galleries, right?
Yeah, we still got our holiday sale is still set up in our gift shop, and that's going till December 23rd, so you can stop by and pick up all kinds of neat things.
Very unique. If you give a gift of art, it's unique. You won't find a copy anywhere.
That's correct. These are all works by local artists. About 30 local artists have contributed to the holidays inventory at the Paradise. So come on down and check it out. There's a lot of great stuff to look at and to purchase.
Yep, that's holidays down at the Paradise Center for the Arts. So if there's somebody on your list that you know has virtually everything they need or want,
yeah,
it would be a perfect gift. That, in addition to maybe a membership.
A membership. Membership is a great gift. A membership to the Paradise Center for the Arts gets you automatic discounts on your ticket purchases, gets you early updates on all the good stuff that's coming at the Paradise. So you get a monthly postcard in the mail, you get email blasts and invitations to special events, all kinds of good stuff.
So is Pat Boone coming to Faribault this December?
Pat Boone? No, not that I'm aware of. I mean,
Perry Como?
No,
is he still with us?
I don't know. Perry Como's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some famous Christmas song singers.
Oh.
Johnny Mathis.
Barbra Streisand.
Barbra Streisand's a famous Christmas song singer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, we had her on one of our, we had a Christmas record
I saw
compilation.
Crimson Tides over the weekend on the classic movie channel.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Nick Nolte, yeah.
Man, did Nick do a great job in that flick.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in
When
ages.
he's crying on the couch there.
Yep.
It just, wow.
Yeah.
That was amazing. She did pretty well, too. She directed that, you know.
Yes, she did.
It got nominated for like 7 Academy Awards, but she was not nominated for Best Director.
Oh, well.
No, I thought it was well directed.
What it is, you know.
But what do I know?
What?
Anyway, we're going to talk this weekend, about this weekend. Twice the cheer this year, the best Christmas pageant ever, the Charlie Brown Christmas.
That's
and we're
correct,
also,
sir.
Pardon?
That's correct, sir. Yes.
Yeah. And on December 18th, it's Rock the Treetop. We'll touch on that when AM Minnesota continues. Some of these activities, by the way, are made possible in part by a grant provided by the deep pockets of John Anderson. No, by the Minnesota State Arts Board, through an appropriation by the Minnesota State Legislature from the state's general fund. So you and I are helping the fund part of this. And we'll tell you more about that too, Carter. I promised us, listener, that I would pass along this information. Peace Lutheran Church having their craft and bake sale this Saturday, 8:30 to 2, in the lower activity room of the church. Christmas crafts and goodies. Of course, Carter, you live over in Kenyon, so you know all about these Norwegian goodies like lefse, rosettes, and
Lefse is fantastic.
kumkaka,
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Yep.
They're going to have that, plus they're going to have fudge.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Fudge. Cookies, cakes, stocking stuffers, handcrafted items, ornaments, cards. The luncheon from 10:30 to 1 includes beef stew, chili, grilled cheese sandwiches, Christmas cookies and bars, and this is in the lunchroom of the church at Peace Lutheran, which is located at 213 6th Avenue Southwest here in Faribault. So, I promised I'd do that.
Come and get your fudge on.
And I try to fulfill my promise.
There you go. Much appreciated.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah.
Well, Carter, we do have a lot to talk about because December is a fairly busy month,
Yes,
right?
it is.
At
It
the
is
Paradise?
indeed. It is indeed. We open our final production of the Paradise Community Theater Faribault Daily News Theater season on Friday with a program called Twice the Cheer This Year, which is actually, it's a kind of a double bill, and it's two one-act plays. Act one will be The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, adapted from the book by Barbara Robinson. And we take a short intermission after that, and then Act two is A Charlie Brown Christmas, adapted for the stage from the TV special from 1965, adapted for the stage by Eric Schaefer.
These are directed by Rachel Hyder.
Rachel Hyder from Northfield, works out of the Northfield Arts Guild. Rachel Hyder is a wonderful director. She's been working with kids in this area and at the Paradise for years. She has piloted our summer theater program, which we do every August. And this past August, she got a group of kids up on stage to do a very abbreviated, if you can imagine this, an abbreviated version of, well, in the theater we call it the Scottish play by William Shakespeare. For those of you who aren't superstitious, it was a short version of Macbeth. So in the theater we call it the Scottish play because we're superstitious and all kinds of bad things happen to you if you say Macbeth inside a theater. So that's a whole other story. But Rachel got these kids to chew on Shakespeare and did an absolutely fantastic job with them, and she's doing a great job with the kids in these two Christmas plays as well. She's got them all jazzed up and excited, and it's going to be a really wonderful set of performances. Best Christmas Pageant Ever and A Charlie Brown Christmas, running for 2 weekends, starting this Friday at the Paradise.
I would guess it would be a different challenge. I'm not saying more difficult, but a different challenge to have all kids on stage versus adults.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think, and I can't speak to it because I've never
Right.
directed kids. I've been in shows with some kids, but I think it requires a real different mindset because it's a whole different energy. And the first read through, I was there just to watch, and I walked into the rehearsal room, and it was full to the brim. You've got about 6 adults in the room and 40 kids of elementary school and middle school ages, and a couple of high schoolers, and it's just phenomenal. The energy and the willingness to be open, and kids are the greatest audience, and they're the greatest actors because they haven't gotten to the point where life has beaten them down yet. They haven't gotten into adulthood and all those responsibilities, and so there's an openness to them and a willingness to risk on stage and have fun that sometimes adults forget about. And so when you watch kids acting on stage, there's a freshness and an energy to the performances that's really, really refreshing.
I think virtually all of us know about the Charlie Brown.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's, the Charlie Brown Christmas, it's going to be 50 years old this year. Came out in 1965. Commissioned by the Coca-Cola Company, and Charles Schultz and Lee Mendelson and Bill Melendez put together this incredible TV special, which, has just become iconic.
Yep.
You can't
Schultz,
have
of course, a St. Paul native.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right. That's right. Grew up here in Minnesota.
In fact, his son, I recently read, his son said where his dad got the ideas for his characters from his neighborhood.
Oh, sure.
That he grew up in
Yep.
St. Paul.
Yep. His father, I think, was actually a barber, and Charlie Brown's father was a barber in the comic strip. So, yeah. And I think a lot of his ideas came also from his Norwegian, his Norwegian heritage and upbringing, and just the way he approached the comic strip and the way he approached his life.
I'm very jealous, though. I don't know about you, but
What's
these
that?
kids haven't aged in 50 years.
No, they haven't. They are eternally young, and will always be that way in our minds, I think.
So maybe
Yeah.
I'll come back as a cartoon character
Maybe you will.
and stay forever young.
Maybe you will. I don't know. I have to think about that. Gordy Kosfeld is a comic cartoon character.
In the best Christmas pageant ever, Twice the Cheer This Year, the best Christmas pageant ever, that's the one people probably aren't quite as familiar with.
Yeah, and I have to admit, I wasn't familiar with it either, because I missed that book when I was growing up.
Sure.
But I think it came out after my childhood. But it was first put together by Barbara Robinson, and it ran as a serial, I think, in McCall's magazine, and then was adapted into a book, and then adapted into a play. Basically, it's about a couple who are, tasked with putting on their local church's Christmas pageant, and by fate or what have you, they are stuck with three of the most, I'll say, obnoxious. The play description in the catalog said egregious, which is a word that I love, egregious, but synonym for that is obnoxious. But they're stuck with three of the most obnoxious kids who ever walked into a church, and the Herdman children, and who came to the church because they heard that snacks were served there. It's the only reason they walked into the church. Had nothing to do with religion or Christmas.
No, they want food.
They want food, yeah. And so, for whatever reason, the parents are stuck with these kids, and so havoc ensues as they try to work with these kids and try to get them to stick to the traditional Christmas story, shepherds and mangers and wise men and all that. And what comes out of all this is a very comical and somewhat non-traditional retelling of the story that we all know from the book of Luke. So, without giving any major details away, it's
hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. And
well, even a Charlie Brown Christmas has some funny moments.
Yeah, it's got a lot of funny moments. Although it's a lot more of a
ending to that show.
Yeah, to a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Linus's speech at the end is
and
awesome.
That scared the sponsors back in the '60s. I remember I read somewhere that the Coca-Cola executives came back to Charles Schulz and said, "We don't know if we should keep this in." And Schulz and
why were they scared?
I think at that time, I think they wanted to stick to the secular. And this is
1965.
It was 1965, but it was a different time. And this was the first appearance of the Peanuts characters on television. And I think they wanted to play it as safe as possible. But Schulz and Bill Melendez and Lee Mendelsohn said, "Trust us. This is what this is about, and this will work." And it did. It did. And it was, what I love about it is it's Linus's message is so very simple and straightforward, and it doesn't push.
No.
It's just a very simple statement, and then you move on. But and that's what makes it great. It's that it's the simplicity that gets you right, but right in the heart, right between the ribs, and that's what makes that special wonderful, I think. And that's what's going to make the play wonderful too, because these kids, I think, understand that almost implicitly.
Who plays Linus?
Oh, I don't remember his name, and I didn't bring a copy of the program with me, so you'll just have to come. You'll have to come to the show and read the names for yourself. But I'll tell you though, I'm back to the first read-through. The kid playing Charlie Brown, the young man playing Charlie Brown. You know how you've heard these specials on TV year after year, and they were voiced by children. Mm-hmm. And you get to know the voices, and you identify the voices with the certain characters. The boy playing Charlie Brown in this version has the Charlie Brown voice. And don't ask me what that means, because everybody has their own association.
Right.
I sat there and I couldn't see him from where I was standing.
And you were like, "Wow, that's Charlie Brown."
And I thought, that kid's got the voice nailed. He's Charlie Brown. And it just works. And I couldn't say that about every one of them. But this kid has it. So, don't take my word for it. Come and give a look and a listen for yourselves. So, Friday, Saturday, 7:30, Sunday at 2 p.m., and then next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 7:30, and then Sunday the 13th, we close with a 2 o'clock show. So we're extending it one day because it's the holiday show. So we have an extra Sunday in there for you.
Yeah, you would think that whole families
Mm-hmm.
bring your kids, especially on Sunday afternoon.
Bring your kids, bring your aunt and uncle, bring your grandma and grandpa, and bring the extended family if you can. And you know, there's a lot to see, and there's like 40 kids between these two shows, so we expect a lot of moms, dads, grandmas, and grandpas, and cousins and uncles and whoever. So come on out. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful set of shows.
And it's this Friday? Do you have your typical opening night cast reception?
Yes, we do after the show, and so everybody will get a chance to congratulate all the kids and the adults, and you know, have a little food and drink, and enjoy an extra little bit of evening. So yeah, it'll be a good time.
And Carter Martin is with us. He's the executive director of the Paradise Center for the Arts. I'm going to touch on Rock the Treetop here.
Yes.
7:30 on Friday, December 18th. As I understand this, Carter, it's all of our favorite classic holiday tunes in rock and roll.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Played by the Over and Back Band.
So Away in the Manger.
Away in the Manger? Yeah, well, maybe.
In classic rock and roll format.
Sure. Why not?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it won't work. But
I'm not saying it won't work either, but you know, that's the format. So, and there's lots of ways you can jazz up the holiday classics. You know, whether it's, you know, Away in a Manger in a gospel format, I can imagine, but rock and roll, I don't know. But you know, you'll have to come and listen.
These are in classic rock format.
That is right, classic rock format. And the Over and Back Band will deliver. That's you know, Dr. Mike Hildebrand with Mark Allen, Dallas Musselman, and some other guests, and they will be rocking it on the Friday the 18th, 7:30 p.m. And tickets for that are going fast, as are tickets for the PCT shows. Tickets for Rock the Treetop are $15 for members, $20 for non-members, $10 for students. And so get them now. You can get them online at paradisecenterforthearts.org. or at our box office phone number 507-332-7372, or stop in Tuesday through Saturday, 12 noon to 5 p.m. Thursday evenings we're open till 5 to 8 p.m. in addition, and of course we'll be open an hour before showtime for each of our community theater shows and before Rock the Treetop.
And you can purchase tickets for these online, right?
Yes, you can. Yep. www.paradisecenterforthearts.org.
$3 handling fee per order.
That is correct. $3 handling fee per order.
Not per ticket.
Not per ticket. Per order. Yep.
Just want to emphasize that.
Yes. So we give you a cost break there. So
has that been going well? A lot of people going online?
You know, a small amount of people. I think most people are still more comfortable with the phone, and of course, you know, stopping in person. Although now that the weather's getting a little dodgy, it's probably going to be a little easier to get on the phone or online. So think about that before you venture out. Unless you are, you know, a diehard and want to be out and about. Good for you. You know, remember that the phone and the internet are always good options. So
you don't have to change the marquee today, do you?
No, I changed that last week. So and you know, and I don't.
Might be a little slippery today.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the rest of winter, and I'm hoping it stays as mild as possible, because getting up on that ladder is it's a challenge, especially when the wind is in your teeth, and because Central Avenue is just a wind tunnel up and down.
Which
when the wind's coming from the northwest.
They have those mini scissors lifts.
Yeah.
With a little bucket on the top, a little stand on the top. With, you know, you've seen those.
Oh yeah.
That's what you guys need to invest in.
Maybe.
That would rise you up.
Yep.
I mean, what you got to tell the board is workman's comp.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to pay off. I mean, get one of those little scissor lifts.
There you go.
And then you don't have to worry about ladders slipping and sliding.
Yeah. Well, I will have my boots on, and I admit I do get my exercise going up and down the ladder. Probably the best workout I could get is, you know, hauling that ladder and
you were
traveling up
missing
and
some
down.
letters last time I think I talked.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it's hard, because if you know, that marquee is three-sided, and if you want to, you know, try and spell everything that you want to spell, you know, sometimes I find myself running out of R's and S's, T's and P's, and you know, you have to think of ingenious ways to abbreviate or change a bit of wording so it still says the same thing but in a different way. So if you look at the marquee, instead of saying Rock the Treetop right now, it says Rock and Roll Xmas. December 18th. So that's because I didn't have enough E's to spell treetop. So go figure. What are you going to do? You know, so.
That's the old-fashioned marquee.
That is the old-fashioned marquee. You get up there and you put the plastic lettering in, and you know, and it looks great. It looks great. You step back into the street, checking for oncoming traffic, of course.
When it's all lit up,
and when
awesome.
it's all lit up, it's very sweet. It is a lovely sight on Central Avenue. So if you do nothing else this winter, walk by and look at the marquee and see if it doesn't attract you to come inside. You know, it's meant to do that, and it's a great thing. It's a wonderful theater that we have right here in Faribault, and
we need to support it to keep it.
Yep, it's a gem, and I want everybody to know that. And so I tell my audiences when I get up and make a curtain speech, this is your Center for Cultural and Arts right here in Faribault. And I asked the question at Wine, Women, and Comedy a couple weeks ago. I said, are we in Albert Lea? No. Are we in Rochester? No. Are we in the Twin Cities? No. Where are we? We're right here in Faribault. And so that's something to remember.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people in the South Metro make their way down to the Paradise Center for the Arts.
Yeah, our mailing list, and I really had a chance when we sent out our annual donation letter. I had a chance because we were doing bulk mail, and I had a chance to look at all of the different cities where our mailing list extends. And it's not just Faribault. It goes to Owatonna, of course, and Northfield and Morristown and Lakeville, but also up to the Twin Cities and all around the region. You know, a little bit of Zumbrota, a little bit of, you know, even Albert Lea and Cannon Falls and all Nerstrand and Denison and all the little communities in between. So it's quite a spread. It's quite a radius that we serve, and that's a wonderful thing.
Is Rock the Treetop your final event of the season?
It is. We're effectively closed for a couple weeks just so we can take a breather and enjoy the holiday with our families and friends, and then we will be back for 2016 on January 8th with Mary Jane Alm, who is a wonderful artist, grew up in Mankato, and she has been 3 times voted Minnesota Musician of the Year and Female Vocalist of the Year. She's a multi-time winner there. And she will be down here with her band on January 8th, performing her brand of musical magic. And so she does covers of everything from country to blues to rock. And so we're going to have a good time with her when we get back in the new year.
If people are thinking about getting a membership as a gift, gift certificate, you have special ways of writing that up? Or how does that work?
Yeah, we provide a certificate that you know, will give you a membership. You can also buy something that's good for the entire music series if you're interested in that. And you know, I'll give you a certificate for 2 tickets to each of the 10 performances in the music series. There's a family membership which will get you a certificate for all 5 of the family shows in the family series, and and of course, you know, we have season ticket packages which are good, you know, for purchase through the 7th of January. So those range from what we call the baby boomer package for the older folks. We have a Gen X package, which is some of our less expensive performances. We've got a family series package, which is a discounted price on all of our family shows. And then we've got a millennial package for, you know, the very young professionals who are just starting out and, you know, want to see what it's all about at the Paradise. So take a look at those. They are in the 2016 season brochure on page 36 and 37. You can take a look at the different options.
Everybody should have that brochure?
If you are a member, you would have gotten it in the mail by now. If you're not and you want to get a copy, you can phone us up at the Paradise at 507-332-7372, and we'll either put one in the mail for you or we'll ask you to come by and you can pick one up. We've got boxes of them.
Available?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So again, this weekend, beginning on Friday and Saturday, 7:30 performances. 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon matinee, and then next Thursday through Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7:30.
Right.
And another Sunday afternoon matinee at 2.
Right, and I should say we're grateful to Reliance Bank for their sponsorship of Twice the Cheer this year, and our performances on Thursday of the second weekend will be ASL interpreted for the deaf and audio described for the blind.
Fantastic. Thank you. Appreciate it, Carter.
All right,
Have
thank you,
yourself a
Gordy.
Merry Christmas.
You too, sir.
Happy holiday season. That concludes today's